Sheldon, what happened? Tell me, what do you have to show for all your hard work? See,
Oh, sorry, my mic was muted. I'm sorry, guys. Welcome to another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. I'm your host, Saheem the Dream.
It's your boy, J McNean.
It's your boy, Travis. Trevor.
Yes, sir. And we are here to talk Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk some SmackDown. So if you guys are tuning in, please give us, we want you guys to give us a thumbs up. We want you guys to comment in the comment section below. We want to know your thoughts concerning Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about SmackDown. If we have any news and rumors, we are going to shoot them past you guys. And you guys can tell me what you think. If you guys got any news and rumors, please share in the comment section below. We want to hear from you guys. You guys are catching us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe. Hit the comment section below. We want to hear from you guys. This platform is strictly made for wrestling fans because we want to know what you guys think about wrestling, what's going on as far as Monday Night Raw, as far as SmackDown, as far as these wrestling topics that we are talking about. So this is what this platform is for, to hear from you fans, to know what you guys think. Let's get into it. So you guys see Monday Night Raw. So I was watching Monday Night Raw, and very interesting. So Drew McIntyre being shoved back into the heavyweight title picture again. Of course, he's after that belt. He's on that pursuit of the championship. He had a match with Kofi, and it ended in a disqualification or no contest. I believe it was a no contest. So I guess they're trying to set something up for them, I guess, to fight at Hell in a Cell, but they're supposed to have a rematch next night or next week on Raw, where they're going to decide who's going to fight Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell.
I mean, it really don't matter.
You said what?
Yeah. It kind of don't matter right now because we know if Kofi go, they're not gonna let him win. Drew, they probably won't let him win. What does it matter right now? I'm kind of over the whole WWE Universal title situation right now because honestly, that should be Braun's. Braun should be in that place where Drew is, coming out every night complaining about not getting the title shot, but of course, they got him on some type of, I guess you want to say, injury right now.
Yeah.
I'm kind of over that whole situation. Drew McIntyre, you wait to SummerSlam and give it to Drew if you're going to let Lashley have it. If you're not going to, put the bet on somebody else.
Yeah. So I mean, how do you feel about this feud overall, though? Like,
with Kofi Kingston, I don't think he needs another title run right now. It's not the time. You got the heavyweights clashing right now. I think you need to find a way how to either get Braun back into the Braun back into the picture, or either get Keith Lee back in the situation because you got heavyweights fighting right now. Not saying that Kofi can't be the heavyweight, but he can. I mean, but right now, I think you need to stick with the heavyweights.
All right, Anthony Cobb Anthony Cobb has joined us. What's up, Anthony Cobb? What's up, Sean Keys, who joined us? Anthony Cobb says, "I didn't watch Raw. I had to take a break. It's too predictable." Anthony Cobb says it really don't matter because none of them is going to take down the Almighty. Anthony Cobb says he rathers Finn Balor versus McIntyre. I'd rather Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre. Honestly, I wish. I hope that after this whole feud between Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre, and Karrion Kross and Finn Balor, I hope that Finn Balor actually goes up to the main roster and gets put into the heavyweight title picture. I want to see him recapture the belt again. Yeah, I don't know. Sean Keys in the comment section. He says, "You're not tired of Drew yet." I'm tired of Drew. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm tired of Drew. I feel like what they're trying to do is they're trying to work Drew up to actually winning the title, and that's why they have Kofi in the picture right now. So that way, someone else can be presented with an opportunity. Because even Kofi went on to cut this promo against Drew, saying like, we've seen you again and again and again and again and again in the title picture, and it's just like somebody else needs to be given an opportunity, so you need to step aside. Anthony says, "I'm tired of Drew. They throwing him in our face like they did with Romans." Yeah, but I said that. I said that a while back. I was like, "Yo, Drew is the new John Cena. Like he's being shoved down our throats to be that main guy that's supposed to like uh, carry the brand." No. Anthony Cobb says, "I'd rather a John Cena comeback. I'd rather not. I'd rather not."
We got to talk about that one.
Jay McMahon just turned the screen black because of that. He screamed. He couldn't take it. Sean says, "And exactly like they did Roman." Shaking my head. We love the heel Roman now. Like we love the heel Roman now because of what he's given us. It's a lot more exciting. It's a lot more interesting. Better storytelling. I feel like they need to allow Drew to be the Scottish psychopath. Stop trying to make him so friendly with the whole Scottish warrior thing and allow him to have his edge. I think if they allowed Drew McIntyre to have his edge like he had prior to winning the belt, then this will be a little bit more interesting because he can go a little bit off the rails. Even though he is in some capacity, you know what I'm saying? He's still not taking no flack from anybody just as easily as he was when he was Scottish psychopath. I feel like they should allow him to keep that moniker, go back to wearing the black the black leather jacket, take away the kilt, take away the He-Man sword, and just stick with, what he had going for him in the beginning and work with that. This is something else. Jay, you got anything to say about this?
Who about Lashley? I mean, about Drew?
Yeah, Drew Lashley. What's going on as far as Drew being constantly put into the heavyweight title picture? How do you feel about Lashley's current opponents? How they handling Drew? Like how do you feel about this overall? Like, just your perspective.
I mean, honestly, to be real with you, like Raw doesn't have nobody for Drew to compete against. That's why I wish Aleister Black would have came to Raw. You know what I'm saying, to give a fresh face for somebody for Bobby to fight. But like we done seen him fight Drew so many times. They just threw Braun into the mix, and outside of that, there's nobody else on the Raw roster that legitimately can realistically even not necessarily beat Drew. I mean, beat Bobby, but even make it a legit match because all the good heavyweights are on SmackDown. You and all the other people, like I don't want to see Randy and Bobby, even though that would be a decent match. But you know, what they're going with, but all the decent other guys are in tag teams with AJ Styles and Randy. So it's like there's nobody really for Bobby to really compete against Bobby, and that's the frustrating part about it. Like Travis said, you got to look at either bringing a Keith Lee up or I don't even think Damian Priest is ready, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't see nobody really competing or being good enough to compete against Bobby for the title.
All right. We got some comments in the comment section below. Anthony Cobb says the heel Roman is the truth. I hope Lashley holds the belt up until next year so we can get a Almighty versus Roman at Survivor Series. I think that would be pretty cool. Keith Lee, Braun, Sheamus, Sean Keys. All right, I'm gonna let he said Sheamus. Sheamus and Bobby would be all right. You know, it'd be a decent match to have them do like a brawl for it all, you know, like match. I hope they do something like that. Sean Key says Orton is a heavyweight. So these are heavyweights that he would like to see Bobby Lashley face. I would like to definitely see him go against Keith Lee. Anthony Cobb says, I could imagine if Samoa Joe got cleared, the matches him and Drew could have had would be fire, hard hitting, smash mouth, old fashioned slobber knocker. Slobber knocker. Good old JR, slobber knocker. Slobber knocker. That sounds like a porn. Anthony Cobb says, you lost me with the Sheamus. You might as well throw Dominic Mysterio laugh out loud instead. I mean, you know, listen, you know, I say this. What you said?
And speaking of Dominic, it's funny that he said Dominic because Dominic actually wants to compete against the head of the table. He said, you know, when he first got there, he said he had, you know, he fought Seth Rollins. He had a long program with Seth, and he's like, why not, you know, have a match against, you know, Seth's shield brother Roman. So Dominic definitely is trying to throw at the head of the table, just throwing it out.
Ain't nobody going to take Dominic Mysterio seriously.
Well, let's let him get a couple more single match wins up on his belt before we talk about him going against Roman Reigns. Let's not put him in that picture just yet. He his dad is putting him over as a, you know, as a tag team champion, of course, but let's not toot our horn too fast.
You know what? We got some comments in the comments section below. I have something to say about that. Very interesting. You look with Sheamus. Okay, all right. I read that comment. Sean P says, "Relax, you wilding, laugh out loud." Sean says, "And we tag team champs, man. Chill, laugh out loud." Anthony says, "Roman would kill Dominic." You know what? I'm gonna be honest. It was a good thing. Just reflecting on Sheamus, it was kind of a good thing to have Sheamus thrown into the heavyweight title picture when he won the Money in the Bank, and he beat Roman after he won the title off of Dean Ambrose, because Roman was being booed so heavy, he wasn't really being accepted by the fans. Like, everybody wanted him to be accepted. I mean, like, the WWE wanted him to be accepted. So when you threw somebody like Sheamus, who can gather like big heel heat, who nobody kind of really wants to see champion, and they threw him in that mix with the belt, and they threw the League of Nations in there. You know, it was just like, you know, added whatever. Because I feel like if you were going to do the League of Nations, I feel like Wade Barrett should have been the leader. He should have been the one to actually cash it in. But I felt like they felt like if Wade Barrett would have won Money in the Bank, it would have put him over too far. He would have been over Roman. People would have loved Wade Barrett far more. But anyway, to get to my point, Sheamus being thrown in that picture really did help Roman in the sense that you didn't want to see Sheamus with the belt, but fans didn't want to see Roman either. But at that time, they were able to, you know, kind of build something off of that moment by having him, you know, scare Triple H a few times, be at the League of Nations, you know, have him go a little crazy. So it worked, you know, in some aspects it worked. But I feel like I even felt like that TLC match they had was really, really good, but because the fans really didn't want to see any of them, nobody could really enjoy it. But if you watch that match on mute, right, or if you decide to plug in your own audience with chants and background in the background, whatever, get your artificial audience, you really enjoy that match. That was actually a really, really good match. Anthony Cobb says, I say bring back the Fiend and throw him into the title picture. Sean King says, Fiend is really going through some emotional stuff for real. So I heard that he's having like Bray Wyatt is dealing with some kind of like
he dealing with some mental issues right now. He having some mental breakdowns. I read that story as well. I would say let him get his time off. Let him sort through mental issues because that's a serious thing.
Yeah. Anthony Cobb says the Fiend deserves a long run as champ. I would rather the Fiend dethrone Lashley and face Roman at Survivor Series. That would be a slobber knocker too.
I don't want to see the Fiend. I don't want to see Bray Wyatt, Fiend, nobody. I don't want to see that feud again. That feud is old and tired. Roman Reigns, he's the top heel now. I can't see Fiend being a face. They're going to have to pull a trick out of that hat. I'm with you on this. I think they should bring Fiend back up. I know he got a match coming up with Cross. Win, lose, or draw, I think he should come back up to the main event. They need somebody, a face. I think both shows are hurting from not having the proper build up for a face. Somebody that is coming up, but right now they got him in the U.S. title run, and that's Humberto. But other than that, they don't have nobody. So I think it'll be good if Fiend come up. But the Fiend, let him work through his things first, and then we see what they're gonna do with Survivor Series. I want an AEW crossover eventually on a Survivor Series.
But they don't really need a. But I think the biggest misconception is that we need a face. Like this is the thing, though, right? And I'm gonna just throw this out there, and you just tell me what you think. But I think the biggest misconception is that we need a face. We don't need a face. Like Shawn Michaels never turned face, and that's the funny thing. It was like when Shawn Michaels was DX, they were being cheered, they were being called on. Even when Triple H took over for DX, he never turned face. It was just that he just went against the corporation and he was cheered as a face. You know what I'm saying? And he just stuck with him like for that run. But again, it's like just because a person does heelish things, they don't really have to. They can still teeter that line of gray because again, we're talking about competition. Even though it's sports entertainment, we keep going back to the old ways of doing things. Like we need a face. They could be a face, they could be a heel, or they could just be an anti-hero. They could just go either way. They can teeter that line, but we don't really need a face. We just need good competitors with good entertaining content. Like if we just have that, then everything else will fall in line.
Well, I would agree with you. The only problem is everybody that rides that fence line, they never get the proper writing and proper booking with WWE. It's always the face. It's always the face get the proper writing or get a partial proper writing, or the heel get proper or partial proper writing. It's never gonna be the same. I feel like right now with what both shows are doing, it's always been WWE trying to make face versus heel. And every time you get a heel versus heel, one of the guys ride that fence to get through that actual particular match.
Yeah.
And that's not, and they can't, and they don't have it seems like they don't have, I'm not going to say they don't have the talent. What word can I use? They don't have the proper right to let somebody ride their wave on the fence.
Well,
they just don't.
They do. Like if you look at NXT, right? Like you can't tell between Finn Balor and Karrion Kross who's the heel. You can't tell.
Well, that's two totally different writers, though. You're talking about WWE writers, and you're talking about NXT writers.
Right.
And we both know that NXT, although I don't watch it, but we both know from just by how you guys talk in the group and how people talk about it that I talk to that like wrestling, NXT is the better show than Raw and SmackDown.
But that's my point. My point is that, I think that's my point, and that's everybody's point, because everybody's point is that if WWE would just follow what NXT is doing, then they would have a higher entertainment value. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like with Finn never turned heel. No, I'm sorry. Finn did turn heel. He turned heel on Johnny Gargano, and he never like turned face. He just competed for the title. He smashed whoever was in his way or fought whoever was in his way, win or loss. When he got the title, he got the title, and that was it. And I like same thing with Undisputed Era. They never necessarily turned face. It was just that they just got cheered for. They got higher bookings, and that was it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
but the best person that
so
can
I
do
just
that,
think. Uh-huh.
I was saying the only person I can see that doing it and that's gonna sell it and people are gonna buy into it is the best heel in WWE. The argument we had a couple of
Oh
weeks ago,
God.
Randy Orton.
Triple H.
I think he's Randy Orton. He's the perfect person. He's the only one that can play that face slash heel and be fine. I've yet to see
No,
somebody ride that fence without
he
actually
is.
showing the bad side of them
He
or
is
actually
not.
Stone
showing.
Cold.
He's not, bro. I can name. I can name at
Stone
least
Cold did.
Stone. Right. Exactly. Stone Cold did it. Shawn Michaels did it. Shawn Michaels did it before him. Triple
Can I?
H did it. The
We
Rock.
we okay, but yet it's still those guys are legends. We don't have too many. We don't have too many young guys that are being built correctly to be legends.
But they
They're
made
built.
themselves legends. They
They
made.
they can, but are they getting the actual shot to? No, they're not. They're not getting the chance to show their Humberto. Look how long it took them to give him a proper shot to the point where he could shine. When he first came into the WWE, he was what we call a pun. They used him just to kill time on show. Now he got his body in shape. He got right. He done picked up a little wrestling tips, and he just not. He's starting to stand out now. But look how long it took. Look how long it took Drew McIntyre to stand out. Look how long it took. Let's take some of the Nexus guys. Look how long it took what your boy Heath Slater to stand out. I got two kids. Raw WWE will have you there for 10, 15 years if you have a small name before they give you that platform of being built properly to be put in a position to be a legend. If you're not coming in with charisma, attitude, athleticism, and you can put on a show, you really let's just be honest, you really the sugar at the bottom of Kool-Aid. That's what you are. You gonna get your chance when all the Kool-Aid is gone, when the show is done, the ratings is dead, and nobody's watching. That's the only time you're gonna get a shot. So no, they don't build people properly from the time they get there until the time they leave. The best person that I've seen in a long time that came in the door and had the perfect picture, and unfortunately an injury took him out, but when he came back he still had his platform, and that's Finn Balor.
All right. I'm gonna hit the comment section below. Great points, excellent points. Sean Key says, "Why don't you watch it?"
I answer that question shortly, Sean. I answer when he can do read the comments.
All right. Anthony Cobb says NXT is the best thing on TV right now, especially the takeover. Anthony Cobb says NXT and AEW right now. Not biased. I gotta give the elite their props. Sean Key says DX was heel, NWO was heel, but people love them so much. Fiend is heel. He says, Sean Key says, at what point are we going to stop comparing today's wrestling to
Thank
Attitude Era or just the old days?
you. Right,
And
right.
also, Anthony Cobb says, did I say Heath Slater? He never said a single, he never had a single run. He had to get placed with Rhino, and that didn't last too long.
All
Well,
right.
let me say this real quick, Sean. Uh, we again, that's the reason why we keep comparing it to the Attitude Era is because that was that was the
The
mold.
greatest.
That was a perfect mold that was made
Are you
for
serious?
entertainment.
The greatest.
And they never, and again, they were from that mold, they were supposed to continuously build until they got hired. Like, again, so like the golden era set the trend for charisma, and the attitude era took it to the next level. So they were supposed to just keep building off of that. But they stopped. It went backwards. Instead of going forward, it went backwards. So that's why we keep comparing it, because we don't have anything that equals or amounts to that.
Well, let me answer Sean Key's question. Sean, the reason why I don't watch NXT is because I have sat down and I've watched the full show of NXT. And what I saw from NXT was guys have a open book, with no restrictions to be themselves, to break barriers that they should be able to break at the main event roster. And with that being said, you see the best of them in NXT. Prime example, Keith Lee. When he gets to the main event roster, they totally book him wrong. And it's so bad to the point where I don't like to pump myself up and see you in NXT and be like, oh yeah, this guy gonna be good at NXT. And then he come up to the main event roster and get bumped down to the sugar part of the Kool-Aid. Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't watch NXT, because I feel like I'm gonna get myself all hyped about a character. I like this character. I enjoy this character. Then they get to WWE and they get booked sideways, and then I no longer like the character. I no longer want to want to enjoy that character. And I know there are guys that choose to stay in NXT that doesn't want to go into the main event roster. But I would prefer just to continue to watch highlights versus to hype myself up about a person. Because the last people that I saw came from NXT to the main event roster, they got broke up within a matter of a year. And it was the worst breakup, worst storyline ever. And that was Big Cass and Enzo. I followed them on NXT. I was watching their matches. I saw the hype. I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed everything.
Yeah.
It shortly lived, and then they came up with the worst storyline ever. Big Cass attacking himself, and then they broke him up. It was horrible. Those boys should have had like a freaking Christian Edge run. They should have had plenty of tag team titles.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't watch NXT.
Yeah. I'm gonna respond to Sean real quick. So Sean says Sean dropped 2 comments. He says it was the golden age of wrestling. He says, but it's like music and anything else, the times change and evolve. So this is the thing. That is true, but this is the thing, right? It was the golden age of wrestling, but just because it was the golden age, like, because I know everybody has this thing like it's never as good as the first time, but that's not true. That's not true. Like you have, I could think of many people who surpassed who always surpassed their predecessors. You know what I'm saying? Like before you had before Bill Russell, after Bill Russell, you had Dr. J, but Dr. J never really accomplished as many championships as Bill Russell. And then you had after Dr. J, you had Magic Johnson, right? And then after Magic Johnson, who you had? You had Michael Jordan. And then after Jordan, you had people consider Kobe. And after Kobe, people consider LeBron. You know what I'm saying? So, but the person that people can never really get past, like I'm telling you right now, like after Bill Russell and Dr. J, it was Magic Johnson. Nobody at that point, nobody could get past Magic Johnson until Jordan. And then after Jordan, it stopped. People right now are still comparing Kobe to Jordan. Some people think Kobe is better than Jordan, but at this day, to this present time, a mass percent will still tell you and still say no one's better than Jordan. People will say that again, and it's not because it was the golden age. It's just because of what he accomplished, what he did, and how big his impact was. So it's about impact. Same thing with music, right? You look at Michael Jackson. No one will ever no one will ever sell a Thriller. Thriller is like the biggest selling single-handed album of all times. Like the only albums that came close to it was like the Eagles and Britney Spears, like first 2 albums. You know what I'm saying? But Thriller has sold like 60 million. Like no one's ever come close. Every like all other albums sold like 32, 50 something the most maybe, but 60 something million. But can a Thriller be made again? Yes, a Thriller can be made again. You know what I'm saying? Because you still got people like Taylor Swift that are dropping albums that are selling 12 million, 13 million and stuff like that. So if they can do that in one album, you know what I'm saying? It's just about how far they push their music, how far they push their production. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about what's been done. And at the time when Thriller came out, the production and what was put into the album was nothing like it. So if a person can do the same thing, then it could be done. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that what was done in the Attitude Era and what was done in the Golden Era can be done and can be duplicated, because we're seeing it in NXT. Like we're seeing how if they just take the same programming from NXT and put it on Raw and SmackDown, and they just let that flourish, let it grow, they can create so many great stars, so many great stars.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Let me say this though. With Jordan and Kobe and all those eras, yeah, their impact was tremendous. But the difference in wrestling older age and the basketball era was those guys had a chance to create their own legacy, set their own legacy. These guys have to live up to somebody else's standards to even I'm sorry, to even be or have a chance of being a legend. So I think the basketball reference is a little off, but I get where you're coming from. But all these guys is coming up. The Attitude Era was great. I agree, 100%. But you do need another Attitude Era. You do need some type of era to uplift Raw and SmackDown right now because like I think it was AEW. I think it was the Dark Order or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They that was their little era that they was trying to see if it worked out or not, but it just didn't go as planned with Brody Lee dying. So RIP to him. But yeah, so I just feel like it's one of those things you just gotta sit back and wait to see what WWE gonna do. It's nothing we can really say or do, or we can even depend on because, like you said, NXT is thriving, but WWE is suffering. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like your little stepbrother. It's like you got two kids and you giving one child more kid than the other one.
Yeah.
And you give them more leisure. So they gotta do something quick.
No, that's definitely true. I definitely agree with you. Sean Keys makes a valid point, and we definitely agree with you wholeheartedly about this. He says, I agree. The biggest thing is what we constantly say, the writers make or break what we watch. And I agree, Sean, it's definitely the writers, but that guy, that one man who has all the power in his hand and apparently decides to go and, he'll make a great decision and then
follow with a bad one.
Right. And on the fly, he'll turn the whole thing around and make this crazy decision. You're like, why did you make that decision when the decision you set in stone was already good? It was logical. It made sense. It flowed with the storyline. And he, out of the blue, just changed it on the fly because you just felt some emotional way one day. Or you probably like snort a line of cocaine or smoke some meth, whatever Vince does. But Vince McMahon does this. He does this all the time. He agrees with the writers, or he even just looks at the storyline and says, "All right, we're gonna do this," and they'd be like, "Yeah, this sounds good. This is great. It makes sense." And then on the day of the show, he says, "You know what? Boom! I'm gonna have you drop the title to X, Y, Z." He'd be like, "What? Like, why would you do that?" So, so it's the writers, but I feel like it's so much more Vince because he just gets so flaky. He's so flaky during these events, and he allows his anxieties to get the best of him, and he just doesn't stick with them. Versus where you have Triple H and William Regal, who makes the solid decisions, and they play the long game, and they really play the long game with their characters and their wrestlers, and they really build them well. Even with Bronson Reed, like I wasn't a big fan of Bronson Reed when he started, but now I'm interested in him. Just the way they booked him. They booked him so they booked him right. They booked him right. You know what I'm saying? He didn't win at TakeOver, but eventually he won, and just how they booked his victory. And you didn't feel like Johnny Gargano was shorted out of his ring. after winning the North American title for like the third time, right? Second time, third time. So so it was booked right. It was booked right. So but yeah, the writers need to do better. Kofi Kingston, I have a clip I want to show. So Kofi Mania apparently has been making its rounds, and there was a poll that was put online not too long ago asking, what do you guys think about Kofi Kingston actually getting another run with the world title? Few people said no. There's a lot of people who actually said yes. I wouldn't mind seeing Kofi Kingston with the title again. However, that would go on. That would be by on the account of Bobby Lashley having to lose the belt, which at this point, most of us kind of really don't want to see happen.
But I do.
Bobby Lashley have a lengthy reign. But so last Raw, I think I discussed it, but Bobby Lashley, I'm going to show the clip. But Bobby Lashley was able to hit. I'm sorry, not Bobby Lashley. Kofi Kingston was able to hit Bobby Lashley and Randy Orton with the most devastating move in all of sports and entertainment. I'm going to show you guys right now. Let me just set this up real quick. The most devastating move in all of sports and entertainment. Some people say it's the Stone Cold Stunner. Some people may say it's the Rock Bottom.
Was it more devastating than Bad Bunny move?
It's the most. It's the most devastating move. I'm gonna show you right now. The most devastating move.
I want to see this move. I must have missed it.
Of sports and entertainment. Here we go. They showed the clip a few times. You guys can see Randy on the left, Bobby on the right. The most devastating move in all of sports and entertainment, of course, we all know as the roll-up pin. It doesn't get the credit it most deserves. Everybody, I said this before. Everybody, they asked Bob. They asked what was it? Shelton Benjamin. They said, what do you think is the most unbeatable? Like, what do you think is the most devastating move in all of wrestling, pro wrestling? Like that, no one that they feel like is the most, devastating move or so forth or whatever. And he says, everybody's going to say the Stunner, they're going to say the Rock Bottom, the Pedigree, they're going to say all these the Sweet Chin Music, and these are all great moves. He says, but no one. He said, no, not no one. He says, everyone has lost to a roll-up pin. Everyone has lost to a roll-up pin. There's some people who have never lost to a Stone Cold Stunner. There's some people who've never lost to a Rock Bottom. There's some people who have kicked out of a Rock Bottom, but most people have fallen victim to the roll-up pin.
You think that roll-up pin is just a move to finish the match early? Get it off TV?
Early, but however, as simple as it is quite deadly. We cannot deny its effectiveness of winning titles, winning matches against the biggest opponents, pretty much surprising most of us with just its simplicity, but yet its effectiveness to be done so precisely, so unexpectedly. It's the roll-up pin. It is.
Okay. Okay.
It's the truth. I mean, hey, man, it happens.
I guess.
He beat two former world. He beat a former world champion, a former 14-time world champion, and he just beat the current world champion with a roller pin.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The current champion got hit in the stomach with a cane, though. So
he did, but he still lost to a roll-up pin. Not a trophy.
That's like
not an SOS.
But him getting hit with the cane is like a excused absence. It's excused. It's excused. He gets a pass.
I think the work. If you want
I
to
think
say
the
so,
worst one.
okay.
I think the worst ones is the ones where like I think it was Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax tape, where you looking out the ring, you get distracted, and then they come roll you up and they pin you like that. I think that is devastating. But I think if somebody interfere and hit you with something, or spray some in your eyes or whatever, and you get pinned like that, then that's like an excuse absence. You are excused for that loss.
What would Randy Orton? I mean, but listen, I don't know. You can credit them for the excuse, but if you got guys like John Cena at SummerSlam taking like full on DDTs on a cement floor and able to like take out a whole team of wrestlers who are younger than him and probably as strong or stronger than him, then hey, whatever. I don't. But
But I think it comes down to two though. You gotta look at it too. I think sometimes those roller pins be like just they get the call from upstairs from Vince or somebody saying, "Hey, last minute change." Like let's just say Kofi and Drew McIntyre in the ring, and they already told Drew he was gonna win the title before, they came out, and they get the call. The ref get the call in his ear. Hey, last minute change. Tell him Kofi gonna win the match, and then they tell him, and then the roll up pin is the only thing they can think of to kind of try to, make it a quick, simple transition where people will buy it. So, like I said, I think it's the roller pin is something I think that's a technique they use to kind of, those last minute decisions. Because it was one pay per view it happened. I can't remember exactly which one, but I think it was Brock Lesnar or somebody, and the other guy was supposed to win. And at the last minute, they did a change, and I think Brock had like the roll up pin after he did. I think he did some type of move. It was somebody. I'm not sure if it was Brock, but I've seen it
Kurt
where
Angle, Kurt Angle, Brock,
who
because Kurt,
I don't know. It was no. It was like
Kurt.
it was in the last 5 years. So it was recent. It was more than recent. Like he was fighting. I don't know if it was Brock. I know it was somebody, but they were supposed to. It was supposed to go down to where one wrestler was supposed to win the match.
Yeah.
And at the last minute, I read the story. Vince changed his mind, and the other wrestler ended up winning with a roller pin. So I think that roller pin it's kind of an easy transition for somebody else to win it real quick and on the fly versus having to put a whole nother match behind an excellent match. So they just do the roller pin and get away with it.
Yeah. I can dig it. Yeah, I can see that happening. I've heard that before. I've definitely heard that before. So as far as Raw is concerned, there was nothing really exciting that kind of really happened. They kind of still went through the whole story of, pretty much continuing on what happened last Raw with Bobby and Drew and Kofi. So Kofi and Drew had a match, ended in a no contest. Adam Pearce booked them to have a rematch this following Raw to determine who's going to fight Bobby Lashley in a Hell in a Cell. I'll be honest with you, I would prefer to see Kofi Kingston fight Bobby Lashley. I think it'll be more interesting. Bobby needs to have more opponents turning over in his title run to make it more interesting rather than have him fight Drew McIntyre at every freaking pay-per-view. That's going to get boring. Speaking of boring and the same opponent being faced week by week or event by event, we had Nia Jax versus Charlotte, match number 3 weeks in a row.
Who? Not Nia Jax.
Asuka. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
Oh, Asuka.
Asuka. Asuka and Charlotte Flair fought 3 times.
3
weeks in a row.
Let me go back to this though. You said you were saying okay, so I would prefer it be Drew, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why.
Why?
You throw Drew in this match, you have Braun to come out, break the Hell in a Cell and do whatever. Do his finisher on both of them.
Yeah.
And then let Bobby win. Right? And that way Drew can't say, oh well, you haven't pinned me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You turn around, then Kofi gets his shot. I don't see, but you got to throw a twist in there some type of way. Braun can come out and beat the both of them for all I care. I don't even want to talk about Charlotte Flair and Oscar because that's getting outrageous. They acting like those are the only two women they have on Raw. They can compete for the title just like they do with Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I don't have too much to say on it because it's nothing really you can talk about. I mean, we know what's going to happen. Eventually, Charlotte Flair is going to take the title from your girl.
Yeah,
Eventually.
Honestly, we don't know that. We don't know that because something may change. Because I didn't see Kofi being thrown in this picture at all. I did not expect Kofi to come out of nowhere and be a challenger for Bobby Lashley. And I
Well,
think, and when Bobby,
who was in your mind when they announced that? Who came to your mind? Who did you think would come out?
when they talked about
The
Bobby
open
Lashley
challenge.
being a challenger, I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
you what. When I was watching it, I thought
yeah.
that they were going to try something with Sheamus and Bobby because Sheamus has a United States Championship, and then the way Sheamus cut that promo in the ring, I said that'd be interesting to have Sheamus fight Bobby, and then they try to try to wean something in where they do like a brawl for it, or where it'll be both titles on the line, and I see Bobby coming out on top as the victor.
See, and I had a different opinion, but I knew mine was going to happen because he had just finished his match. I
Mhm.
thought Damian Priest was going to come out,
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
I kind of knew it wasn't going to happen because he had just finished his match.
yeah.
So that's somewhere I would love to see them throw in the title picture and give him a title shot. I know it's early. I know everybody like I don't want him to win the title. I just want to see him in the title picture, just to give us another look, a different perspective, until at least Keith Lee can get back. You know, I know. A couple of shows ago we talked about Keith Lee joining the Hurt Business, which I don't want to see. But I feel like if they don't give Drew the title back, Keith Lee would be the perfect person to take it from Bobby Lashley. Perfect. You don't need a big storyline. I don't know how Keith Lee got hurt. I don't remember. Don't nobody really know what really happened. But he could just come out of nowhere and just be like, yo, I'm tired of y'all coming out every week, da da this, da da that. Try to get a title shot and win the title. It don't have to be a long title run, just a little title run to give us a different feel.
Yeah.
Because I think, like I said, we said it last week, they're going to eventually have to get the title to Braun. So hopefully Braun can take it off of him, but they got to do something. They got to do something
Yeah, they do got to do something. They have to do something new and fresh.
fast.
I would definitely love to see Keith Lee be the one who takes the belt off Bobby. Can't even lie. Keith Lee would be somebody fresh, somebody
Yeah.
new. But the way things look with how Vince is handling Keith, I don't
It's
see.
not going to happen.
We don't know. That's very ambiguous.
It's not going to happen. Not with the way he doing Keith Lee.
Yeah, it's very ambiguous.
How did you feel about the Riddle and what's your boy name? Um, what's his name? New name
Matt
number.
Riddle.
Who?
Matt Riddle.
No, yeah, Riddle and what's called a fight.
And Xavier.
Yeah, Xavier Woods. How did you feel about that match?
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good telling into. I feel like they're booking Randy and Matt Riddle very well.
Right.
Matt Riddle right now. If they just keep this pressure of booking of Randy and Matt together, and the storytelling with Matt, Randy, Kofi, and Xavier, Matt is going to come out a star. He's going to come out a star. He's going to be brought up. I feel like he's already there. He just needs to stay in that stride. But as far as the match is concerned, I enjoyed the match. He hit Xavier with the RKO, which was dope. I didn't expect that. I thought it was dope, but they handled it very well. And you've seen how like last week it looked like Randy was about to turn on Riddle, but he didn't. He was
Right.
like, looked at him and he was like, you know what? No, let me not. And then he walked up the ring. But I like the way Randy is handling his character, because Randy's still consistent to his character. Like, it's like at any moment he can turn on Riddle, but you don't know when and you don't know what. But we know before that ever takes place, they're gonna win the tag team championships. They're gonna win those belts.
Well, I would say
It makes no sense for them not to hold tag team gold, but they're handling their build properly to where they get to that point of holding the belts. Because we know what's going to happen is they're going to hold the belts, they're going to eventually win the belts, hold the belts for a while, for a few months, and then something's going to transpire that's going to cause Randy to turn on Matt, and that's when they're going to have their big feud, which of course is going to culminate to something really, really great. So
I enjoyed that match as well. That match was good. Xavier put on the show, really put on the show. But I would say this: I am rooting for one crossover, and I want to see these two wrestlers go at it from the crossover AEW and WWE. Riddle versus Darby. Two things I like about those cats are they put it on the line every single night. They perform to the best of their ability. They don't leave nothing. It's just like if you lose a game by 1 point, but this team beats you by 30 the first game and 40 the second game. You can never say Riddle or Darby is going to walk out of that ring with their head down because they felt like they underachieved or underperformed. Those guys put on the show every time. And when Riddle hit him with the RKO tonight, I was like, yo, that's crazy. I know Randy Orton back there with that little smirky grin on his face, like he really took my move. I guarantee you, it was something. But I think Riddle is one of the few people in a very long time the WWE is booking right. The other person I see is progressing, is starting to grow on me, is the guy with Elias, whatever his name is.
Jackson
Riker. Those two guys are starting to get the build of what a lot of wrestlers should have got, like Keith Lee, like Drew when he first came. They're getting the push. And with Riddle, it's something crazy. Like I told y'all a couple shows ago, I can't remember, but he kind of give me that Festus vibe. He all cool, collective, chill before the bell ring, then when the bell ring, he get that first punch and then it just click and he turns into a whole other person. But when he did that second rope powerbomb, I was like, yo, this kid is just amazing. So for me, I'm ready to see it. And speaking of third time in a row, you know another match we've seen for 3 weeks straight?
What's that? What match?
Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax versus.
Oh my god!
Come on, man. You know what I'm trying to say. I can't even think of their name right now. But you know what? I'm tired of that because it seems like this feud is starting to begin to be about Reginald. So I'm predict. This is a prediction.
Yeah.
I'm predicting Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax break up next Monday night on Raw because Nia Jax is going to try to defend whatever his name is. Tara just said his name. Sorry, y'all. It's been a long day. What's the guy name on the side? You know what I'm talking about. The black guy they got playing.
Oh, Reggie.
Yeah. I think she's going to try to defend Reggie, and Shayna and her is going to get into a heated battle. I think we have seen the last of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. I think finally people are going to get to see Shayna go on a singles run. Yeah. And honestly, I think this is the perfect time to increase the tribal chiefs entourage.
Okay.
By adding Nia Jax to the table? On the table.
I think it'll be cool. But before we go into that, because we need to talk about SmackDown. Before we go into that, I want to say, I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. I want to talk about Matt Riddle real quick. I believe, and I know for a fact, Matt Riddle is the next big thing. He's the next big star.
100 cold-heartedly.
He is the next, like, if we're looking for like another Hogan, another Cena, another Austin, another Rock, Triple H, Matt Riddle's that guy. He has it.
But
Total
we
package.
got to remember, we don't want him on the single run. Like, where we don't want him where Drew is now. We want him to continue to be where he is and get that run. You know what I mean?
Right, properly, right.
We don't want to see him throw. We don't want to see him through in every single championship match. I think he needs a 6-month title run, lose it, and then come back 4 or 5 months later and win it again. You know, something like that. But I'm with you. He got to be the next big thing. He got everything. He got mic skills. It's kind of weird, but he got the mic skills. He got the in-ring performance. He got the charisma. He got everything that you want to see in someone that you want to build up.
Right, and he has this thing about him where, because he's so, like, he has that surfer boy, he has that surfer dude, surfer boy kind of vibe.
Yeah,
it presents him in a humble, friendly, but somebody you can cheer for as an underdog, even though he might be a champion. Like, you can still give him that. Like, he may be champion, but you still want to cheer for him because you like him so much. And he has those working elements for him. So I said it before. I believe that Matt Riddle is that guy. Like, I was like, I love this dude. Like, I really love. Like, this guy is great. Like, Matt Riddle is that guy. Like, they should.
Did you read? I think I posted it. Did you read the story I posted in the group about the reason why? And Randy volunteered to work with him because he said the same thing that we're saying. That he was just like, he praises Riddle and his work and his in-ring performance. He was like, y'all don't see what I see every day. This kid puts in the work, and he was like, yo, this guy is there. He was like, it's a natural given talent for him. And it's crazy because you don't get too many guys like that can give you that.
Yeah.
Give you a whole different vibe, but when he get in the ring, he gives you everything you're looking for in a WWE wrestling room. In any wrestling competition, he gives you all of that and more.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. I remember you spoke about it. I didn't read the article, but I remember you spoke about it. That article I didn't get a chance to read it. But I remember you talked about it before last time. You talked about it, and you mentioned that Randy picked him up. Randy wanted to work with him because he didn't want him to get lost in that whole, like, mid-card vortex, like him just being used as a jobber, because Randy's seen that potential, which is like one of the best things Randy could have done. Like, and it was like when him and Randy started working together, I was so happy. I was like, yes. I was like, because as Vince sees this plays out, Vince is going to see what, again, with everybody else, he's going to see what we see. Like, there's going to be no denying that this guy is amazing. Like, he just needs to be booked properly. But
and right now he's being booked properly. I love the fact last week, I didn't see it coming. He was like, well, was it last week? He was like, Randy, the week before, when Randy RKO'd New Day, he was like, how are we going to have friends if you keep doing this? One week, and then the next week he come back and he pushed him. Like, that was like perfect, picture perfect. And then the following week you have a match with him. So I think, like I said, he's one of the rare few that are being booked properly from start to finish.
Yeah. Let's get into SmackDown. I'm quite sure. Did you see SmackDown?
I did.
Jay, you still there?
Jay fell asleep.
Jay McMahon.
It's too late. Jay ain't said nothing about 30 minutes, man. It wouldn't be.
I think Jay, because Jay was trying to catch up on some Raw, and
he probably be watching it. Yeah, I didn't watch the entire thing, but I knew when I knew he was gonna do the show, so I went back and I watched some of the stuff. But like you said, it wasn't really nothing eye catching tonight. It wasn't really nothing eye catching. But
Well,
SmackDown had some good stuff going
yeah.
on.
Well,
It
they set
seemed
up
like.
Jay. I mean, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens again for the millionth time.
No, no, no. It was a four-way. It was a four-way. It was Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn,
Apollo Crews,
Apollo Crews, and
King Corbin, right? No,
no,
not
no, 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 no. It was somebody else. We missed somebody. I can't remember who it was.
yeah. I didn't get to see that match. That match I didn't get to finish, but I know
Okay,
Apollo.
I didn't get to see. I didn't get to see it either. But it was
It
a
was Big E, right?
four-way.
Big E.
Yeah, it was Biggie. Biggie, that's
Yeah.
who it was. So that was a decent match. It was okay. It wasn't nothing eye catching, but I did notice that KO and Sami Zayn had like a lot more single time than anything.
Mhm.
But I would like for them to tag team one time, period. But right now you
Mhm.
still got them, on different pages. Um, did you see the attack on Cesaro?
Yeah, I seen the tackle Cesaro when he came
That
out. He was talking to
that
Roman.
was
Yeah, that was
that
funny. He
was a
was
beat.
hilarious. Seth is hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
He came out
But
with the church suit on and the church shoes, and looking
right,
like he was ready for
looking
Easter.
like a whole rainbow.
Yeah, word. I was like, okay. I was like, he wearing his Sunday best on Thursday.
So I came across an article
Okay.
and it said 5 people that they would like to see join the head of the table.
Okay. And Seth was one
Seth,
of them.
Seth was one of them, but listen to this. Naomi was 2.
Okay.
Nia Jax was 3.
Yeah.
You would never guess who the last person was.
Are they on SmackDown?
No.
They on Raw.
Yes.
Samoa Joe.
No.
You said okay. You said never guess. All right. So let me just take it
You got to think outside the box for this one.
outside the box.
You got to think outside the box for this
Dominic Mysterio. That's out the box.
one. Yeah.
Okay. All
You
right.
out the box, but you ain't out far enough.
All right. Humberto Carrillo.
Uh-uh.
All right. Let me get one more guess.
One more guess, and I'm gonna tell you.
Out the box. They're on Raw.
You got to think hard.
On the table. Tamina?
You ready for this?
Yeah, who?
Bask in the glory.
Keith Lee?
Yes. I was like, what? And I thought about it, and I'm like, that could work. And the only reason why it could work is because they haven't booked him properly, and he needs a way to be put all the way over. So if he joins the head of the table
Over the Hurt Business?
over the Hurt, it ain't no Hurt business right now. It's Bobby Lashley doing all the hurting and
Right.
MVP doing all the talking, and the women coming out here looking decent, but all they doing is trilling. So you put him with Roman Reigns. Ooh, that's interesting. And if you keep the Usos there, you think about what they can do to Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, New Japan. We can go on all day what they can literally accomplish. I understand it's a little rough because you don't want to see it, but look at the bigger picture.
It's not that I don't want to see it. It's just that when I think of Keith Lee, there was no better faction he would have fit in other than the Hurt Business. I mean, him going with the whole table, him going with the table, is just it just felt like that slot belong. It's almost like Keith Lee
it belongs to Samoa Joe.
Replace Samoa Joe, because we couldn't get Samoa Joe, we put Keith Lee there. And it's almost like it feels like if Keith Lee was there, Samoa Joe should be in that position.
And I agree with you 100% but in understanding that Samoa Joe is no longer with WWE, as I told you guys before, somebody got to get added to this table because it's plenty of food for him and Jay to eat. Somebody else got to get some. And for right now,
I
it
think
makes sense. It makes sense to an extent, but it's a long stretch. It's a very long stretch because you gotta like literally if that happens, you gotta have the perfect storyline for him joining the head of the table.
yeah. See,
Right now, let me say this. Right now,
okay.
the storyline is set for Seth to join it. It's already there.
Yeah,
All they got
right.
to
It
do is
is.
pull the trigger. But you talking about somebody like
Yeah.
Keith Lee doing it? You
But
gotta have something.
I tell you what's gonna I tell you what, Seth is not gonna join. Seth is gonna be in an alliance to the table, but he's not gonna join. And the reason why he's not gonna join is because you can't have two leaders in one group. It's just like Seth Rollins be,
I agree with you on that, but they can come to an agreement.
in what capacity? Because Seth Rollins wants that title. He's not playing second. He's not playing second fiddle to Roman unless they are joined together.
My bad.
As a group.
Hey man, we thought
All
you
right,
had
Mike.
we thought you had went to sleep on us, man. You took a nap?
Nah, I got a weird phone call just now. It was weird.
Okay. Well, let me say this. Okay, so they can't.
Wait, hold on, Travis. Hold on a second. Hold on, wait. Let me just fill Jay in. So Jay, Travis said that he seen a poll online where they asked who would they like to join.
No, it was an article. It was an article
I'm sorry,
that
it was an
showed.
article, right? And they asked, and in the article they talked about 5 people they would like to see join the table, Roman's, tribal circle, right? And I want to get your take on this, Jay. He said the 5 people are, one was Naomi, the other one was Nia Jax, right?
Yeah.
Nia Jax, Seth Rollins. Who else?
And the last one, take a wild guess, Jay.
So it's 4 people.
Yeah, it was 4 people. Take a wild guess who the fourth person was.
Tamina.
No, it's not a woman. They on Raw.
You said they on Raw?
They
Yeah.
on Raw.
And you gotta think outside the box. You
gotta think Cole Harley outside the box.
Riddle?
What?
No.
Who
he said Riddle.
He said Riddle? Okay.
I give you one more try.
Randy Orton?
You ain't outside the box, bro. You playing right there inside the box. It was Keith Lee.
I've heard that. That's not really out. That's not outside the box. That's what they've been trying to stick Keith Lee in a stable for months. Either Hurt Business or Head of To be honest with you, I don't want to see any of them with Roman. And here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It for me, it'll be too cliche if Naomi joins because that's what everybody's expecting to happen, and it wouldn't make sense for me. Naomi needs to do her own. For me, I think Naomi has reached her ceiling with WWE.
What?
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't see them giving her another major push, and that's just being honest. Naomi.
Well, so let's change the word. She haven't reached her ceilings. But let's just say she has reached her limits with WWE. Because when you say ceilings, you're putting her in all. You're basically saying like, prime example. I hate to do reference, but it's music. But just think about music wise. You think about Young Jeezy's first album. That was like his ceiling. So you got to kind of watch that can't be said. When you said ceiling, I'm like, what? But go ahead, though. I get what you're saying.
But yeah, like I said, I don't see. I feel like they're kind of putting her in the Naomi sphere. Like she's not gonna get another singles push. And at this point, she may get a little bump, but she's more so there to help enhance younger talent. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them doing anything legit with her because we all know right now it's about the 4 horsewomen. And outside of the 4 horsewomen, you have, Rhea Ripley and Asuka. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully after what I just seen with Raw, hopefully, Shayna breaks away and she can possibly get a singles push. But there's really no room for, Naomi, and especially with them bringing back Eva Marie. Like, I just don't see it. Now to put her at the head of the table, I don't like that idea.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Shayna and Maya next week could be their last week together because of Reginald.
Yeah. Keith Lee is just.
It don't seem right. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It really doesn't. It really seems out of place. I can't even say. Okay, this is what my mind goes back to when I think about Keith Lee. I think about when it seemed like Apollo was going to join,
Right.
and it felt like a good idea when Apollo was going to join. But
I think it would have been a great idea.
It felt like it, but it was so crazy because it felt like a good idea. But when he said it was just like, you know what? Let's not have him join a stable, but let's have him make somewhat of his own stable over here and turn him heel and have him win an Intercontinental title to
give
create
him an accent. And give him an accent.
Right, give him an accent, right. Change his whole ethnicity, make him Nigerian, right? And
you would not disrespect the people.
Right. And then, have him do his own thing over here. But it worked out so much better for him. It worked out so much better for him to have him do his own thing. And I actually love his character.
Can I ask you a question though? How long are we gonna sit with him calling himself? How long are people going to accept it with him calling himself the tribal chief with no tribe? At one point, at some point, we do have to give
SmackDown is tribe.
But no. The way he talking, like, if it's not for him, SmackDown don't move, don't make money.
Right.
So at what point are we going to give him a tribe, a family, someone that looks up to him? We've seen CM Punk take over Nexus. We see Bray run the Wyatt family. We see the Shield run itself.
Right.
At one point, is Roman going to get his tribe to run and be official with it? At one point, are we going to see his group hold every title on that particular show to show that he's the head of the table?
I still personally feel he doesn't need it because, again, his whole gimmick is if he's not running the show, there's no show. He's putting food on his family's table. He's putting food on Jimmy's table, Jimmy's family's table, Jay's family's table. Without him, you know what I'm saying, there's no SmackDown. As we've seen, on SmackDown, where they had a celebration of champions, Paul Heyman was like, these are title holders. Roman Reigns is the champion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's more so making it that Roman is making it he's making it the reason why everyone's eating. Everybody's is flourishing because he's bringing the Raiders to SmackDown. So his tribe is the whole SmackDown roster. If you really think about it, in those terms, so he don't need a direct following. Jay and Paul is good enough.
That's a stretch though.
Because now if you think about it, if you start putting if this was WWE maybe like 3-4 years ago where there was no brand split, then that makes sense. But now you're taking top stars and you're putting him, or you're taking stars and put him in this stable with Roman. Who is he really going to compete against?
But wait. That's the problem. We don't have any stars. You don't have
Exactly.
any. But wait.
So why
But
take the stars
wait.
that we already have and put them with Roman to
It's not so
make
much.
less stars?
Wait. So the article stated that, but only person I figured that they would do that for, only star that I want them to do it for, is Seth. But in all honesty, I'm not saying take the top stars and put them with them. Prime example, another person I think that they can put in the group is what's your boy name? Oh yeah, the fifth person. I forgot the fifth person. It was a fifth person side. It was your boy. Golly, I promise you, it's been a long day for me. I can't think of nobody's name tonight. Uh, what's your boy name? He was self discipler.
Come on, Murphy.
Murphy.
Yeah. Like
Murphy doesn't
somebody
need
small, yeah. So Murphy, somebody as small as Murphy, some no namers that you don't have nothing to do with right now,
Yeah.
and putting them in that position of being under Roman tribal chief. They can take Tamina, Naomi, or Nia and put them in there. I would prefer Nia because she's already on the verge of bringing on her partner. But they can take some no namers and put in there, and one more superstar. You put Jimmy and Jay in there, that's your tag team. You put a no namer in there like like him. That's your nobody. But you gotta put somebody behind him because you can't sit here and tell me that you're feeding the table and you don't have nobody sitting at the table. Yeah, you got the whole
Right.
SmackDown sitting at the table, but you don't have like legitimate people that's literally there back you saying you. Because right now, all you got is yo B,
Yeah.
as his brother said, nobody's B. You got your B there, and you got your right hand, and you got your mic man there. That's it. Your hype man there, but you
All
don't
right.
have nobody else.
So Anthony Cobb is back. So this is the thing, though. Okay, so I totally agree with you 100%. And on what you, I mean, Trav, on what you 100%. Um, you're right. The stable needs to grow. You're absolutely right
You got
because
to.
um, there has to be some establishment. But I think now, and then Jay also mentioned he was like it would be quite predictable, and you mentioned it like it'd be quite predictable if we seen Naomi join the stable, right? But it would be predictable, but that's what we want to see. We even though it's a predictable move, it's one of those predictable moves you want to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Can
Like
can I?
another
Oh,
thing,
I got a
like,
question. One second. I'm sorry to cut you off.
uh,
Who is she married to, Jimmy or Jay?
Jimmy,
Okay, so she's married to the one that's not in the tribe.
yes,
So that would be the perfect storyline for her to
to do
join
that.
and get her husband to flip over.
That'd be great.
Right.
But me personally, I mean, if Naomi joins, great, right? And I think that would be great. I think that'd be great storytelling because it's like Jimmy won't join, but then Naomi comes and she joins, and then it's like now it puts Jimmy in this odd place. Like your wife and your brother is with the table, and now he's like the odd man out, and then they can show
Right.
some like some kind of turmoil in their marriage, especially with turmoil with his brother. But then
Right.
eventually, have that come together as them because I really believe that they're building a Jimmy versus Jay. But then I think it's going to eventually after the feud, it's going to be them winning the tag titles off of the Mysterios.
So you do know. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. Go
But
ahead.
I want to see Nia. I want to see Nia with the stable. I want to see Nia with the stable because it would just be right. It just I mean
Feel right.
either one it'll feel right. But on another note, because we know Jimmy's going to join. Like it's going to eventually happen. On another note,
Yeah.
I really want to see this Seth Rollins versus um, Roman Reigns. I want to see this.
Uh,
I want to see the Friday Night Messiah versus um versus versus Seth Rollins. Anthony Cobbs put something. I'm a answer his comment real quick. It's just something I just thought about. Anthony Cobb says, "Yeah, Nia and Tamina. Now that'll be dope. Nia and Tamina join the table, form a tag team because Tamina just won the tag team championships, right? So she's now a credible title winner, right? They get together, they form a women's tag team, they get the women's tag team championship belts, right? Um,
Uh, that that would only happen if you brand split though, and you separate Tamina and Natalia. I think.
right. It can happen.
Yeah, we
It can
can.
happen.
We seen it. But let me say this. Who do y'all think will win? Jimmy and Jay or the Street Profits to go on to face Dominique and Ray? You know that match is happening Friday night.
Who do we think is going to win out of the Street Profits and Jimmy and Jay to go on and
Yeah,
fight the Mysterios? Uh,
yeah.
this is what they're going to. This is what I believe they're going to do. I believe it's going to be the Street Profits. They're going to hold off just a little bit because they want to run this story.
Right.
They're
That's what I
gonna,
thought too.
they want to run the story right. They want to book it right. So they want to run it because it'll be just too soon to kind of throw them into the tag team picture so soon, unless again, this is what I feel like Roman's going to do. Roman or Jimmy, because Jimmy even said it last Friday. He said, "Yo, um he went to was it Sonya Deville or Adam Pearce and to book a tag match with the Usos against I believe it was the I forgot who it was. I think he said if they beat them, then they can get a title match against the Mysterios."
It's the Street Profits.
The Street Profits, right? Yeah.
Right.
So it depends. Well, you know what? I take it. It depends. It depends on how they do it. If they want to build a Jimmy versus Jay match, which would be interesting, which I think they should do that because it's the right time to do it. It's the right time because there'll never be another better time than this than to have Jimmy versus Jay, especially at this moment, right?
Right.
So I think they probably hold it a little bit. But on the other hand, they don't want the Street Profits to lose to the Mysterios probably because they want to keep the Profits strong. But if the Street Profits lost to the Mysterios, it wouldn't really hurt them that much.
It's not gonna hurt them at all because they
Yeah,
are better entertainers than a lot of people in the
right,
WWE,
right.
especially in the tag team division.
So I'm in between, but I think that they're going to probably run the Jimmy versus Jay feud and then eventually have them win the tag titles and join the stable in some capacity.
Right.
But if they don't want to do that and they just want to go to the quick build of the table to solidify the table, then they're gonna have them win this Friday, and they're gonna get those belts off the Mysterios because I don't see the Mysterios holding the belts very long.
Right. I don't. I was gonna say I don't. I don't. I'm not with you, but I'm with you on the Seth Rollins versus Roman.
Yeah,
I think that match gotta have very very high stipulations, like super high. Like you said, you don't see them. You don't see Seth Jordan at the head of the table because he's a leader. That match is gonna have so high of a stipulation that it's gotta be something to really catch the eye of fans because, like you said, you got two leaders.
yeah,
One wants you to see the vision. One wants you to believe that he's running the show. He's providing food, water, and shelter for everybody. So that match gonna have to have very high stimulation. I don't know what it
yeah,
could be because him, Seth Rollins, just joining the head of the table is not high enough for that match. That's gonna be a thrill.
yeah,
That'll be one of those matches you literally got to do at WrestleMania. You can't do that in no SummerSlam, no
yeah.
Backlash, none of
Well,
that. That's got to be a WrestleMania.
SummerSlam is that big show too, so you can't count out SummerSlam.
You said what?
I said SummerSlam is that big show too, so you
Yeah,
can't count out SummerSlam.
Well,
right.
that goes into our breaking news and rumor mill that I put in the group text with just us three. We'll talk about that when we get to that point.
But
Okay.
but I mean, yeah, I don't see Seth to me joining the head of the table. I mean, well, not head of the table, but Seth joining a faction with Roman again.
Is it again? Because it was technically Seth group. I think Seth was the leader of the Shield.
Nah, I didn't see it that way.
No, I think I don't think they really had a leader, which was the best part about it.
Right. I mean, but if you had to
choose,
one, I would say Seth was more so of a leader than Roman was, because we know Dean Ambrose wasn't. You think Dean was?
I would say Dean was, because Dean was the best on the mic. Dean executed the points better, and he was the only one that held the singles title with the group before they actually joined back together. When they joined back together, the last time they were back together, that's when Roman had the Universal title. Their second go round.
Well, he got to be like a silent leader, like Kawhi Leonard is, because he just didn't stand out to be a leader like that. But
Dean?
But
yeah.
But at the same time, so here's my thing where I really don't think that Roman and Seth should join Roman. They were Shield. We all know that.
Right.
That's like all right. You adding Shawn to Evolution. It would be out of place.
Yeah. Very much
but
so.
I would agree with that only if Dean Ambrose wasn't at AEW as John Moxley. You got to understand something. The Shield can never be reformed because it's missing the lunatic fringe.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, you can put them back together with one leader with a different gimmick, and it could work, but it all boils down to the writers and the production. Because honestly, when you look at them two together, you don't see the Shield no more. I don't see the Shield. So I can't see why it wouldn't work.
So ask you another question. So you think it would have been a decent fit if you have Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods join Bobby Lashley in Her Business? That wouldn't look weird to you?
That would be the worst ever.
Exactly. So
wait. And the reason why I say that is because the New Day is all about making you laugh, having fun, enjoying the moment. Mm-hmm. The Hurt Business is about, let's put a hurt on the first person walk our way. But when you look at Self is telling you, listen, see it my way. Look at it from where I'm standing from. And Roman's saying, hey, look, if you don't join me, you ain't got no food. So I think you can come up with one common solution for both of them to, it ain't got to be 3-4 years down the line. It can be 6 to 8 months they be together. You know, just like what was that? The group they broke up at NXT with Kyle Ridley and all them boys. It don't have to be long. It's just got to be for the moment. Yeah,
Undisputed Era.
Oh, Undisputed Era.
Yeah, the Undisputed Era. Yeah, just like that. It can be something 6 to 8 months, and then you can change the page. But right now, at the moment, I would say this: wait till the brand split is over with to see what they do, because we all know they can put them together and then Seth Rollins go to Raw.
How would because that's what I was saying before was, I mentioned this before, is that Seth is not going to play second fiddle to anybody, and he proclaims himself as a leader. Roman proclaims himself as a leader. And it's just, how would that work? And I could see, like, I could write it out. I can write out a scenario that would make Seth and Roman together in that group work. But the oddness about it would just be like Randy Orton winning the world title. When Randy Orton evolved, when he reached his last, stage of evolution, which was being world champion, because that's what the group was about, evolving into being a major star. Triple H is like, I'm not playing second fiddle to anybody, because the only other person he could play second fiddle to was Flair, but Flair time was over.
You know what? You just wrote a book. You wrote the story right there.
And I'll give you another example. When The Rock was in the Nation of Domination, Farouk was a leader, and Rock started climbing, and Rock became that guy. they kept bumping heads all the time. It had to come to a point where they had to kick Farouk out of the group because Rock was a bigger star.
Right.
But I think you just wrote the story for Roman himself. Seth joins under circumstances that eventually he gets a title run, right?
Okay.
The moment he wins the title, the moment Roman, Jay, and whoever else in the group turns on Seth. Bam, that's the end of it. Same thing they did with Evolution. You just wrote the story right there.
Yeah, but then we have a situation whereas, okay, I can see that happening. But then that means the belt would have to come off of Roman.
That's fine.
Roman.
That's fine because then at that point that he loses the belt, at least we can say he did have more than just Jay at the table. He had Seth Rollins behind him for 3-4 months, so that's fine. But I don't want to see him losing with just Jay always interfering in the match because we know Paul Heyman big tail ain't getting up in the match. So yeah, I'm cool with that. If he loses the belt because somebody in the group becomes bigger than him, that's fine. But for him to lose the belt right now against people, and he don't even have a friction really. What's the point of making his character?
So when Seth Rollins wins that belt, that would make him the tribal chief. Because Jimmy made a valid point. He was like, he said, just because you have the heavyweight title, he said because you have a belt, that makes you the tribal chief. He said, so that means that when we were tag team champs, or if we win a tag team championship and you lose your belt, that would make us the tribal chief. And
that's why I said the moment he win that belt, the very moment he win that belt off Roman, Jay and whoever else in the group has to turn on Seth Rollins if they do it.
But then why would he fight Roman if he's in the same faction? You know what I'm saying?
Because he joined the group. Because like I said earlier, he put in a stipulation that he's going to join the group to only one day get a title run.
Well,
so basically, you're keeping Seth out of the title picture for 3 to 6 months, which is not going to hurt him.
Okay.
I personally wouldn't do that because let's say, all right, I'm Roman and you're Seth. You think I'm going to bring you onto my faction knowing at some point you're going to try to stab me in the back and take my belt? I got to watch.
I think that's where it gets interesting in. That's where it comes out of Vince's hand and out of Vince's books because that's something Vince would think. But if you take somebody like us that's just making up a scenario off the top of our head, you think about it. Why wouldn't he join? It would be a great storyline. Everybody be wondering why he joined, why Roman let him join, knowing the fact eventually he's going to turn his back on.
Okay, so it's interesting because it would really, and the funny thing about it is that it would kind of make Seth Rollins' character take a step backwards. Like he went from being part of
Dwayne for a little while
with Roman, then he goes to leading his own faction, then he now joins a faction. It's not like he never joined a faction before because he was with the Authority, but the Authority was really built and centered around establishing. I mean, even though the group wasn't centered around Seth, it was more so about the establishment of WWE having that monopoly of choosing the next big star and making the next big star, which hence was Seth Rollins.
So it's just a little twist. That's all it is. A little twist. Giving us something to look forward to. Because right now, I'm going to be honest with you, I really wouldn't be watching SmackDown if I wasn't waiting on somebody to join the head of the table. Right. I literally have no reason to watch SmackDown other than my crush on Bianca. I really don't have no other reason to watch SmackDown other than Roman Reigns. Yeah. And that's sad to say, although they are building up a great storyline with Shinsuke and Baron Corbin. Right. I don't know why y'all call him King Corbin, but Baron Corbin. But other than that, you're really not watching SmackDown. So I honestly like you said, Jay, it is his show. That is his chief. But I mean, that is his tribe. But I need him to get an actual friction together to run gunshot over a couple shows for a little while. If y'all don't know if y'all remember, but when the New Day first came about, they was in shirt and ties like they were going to church.
Yeah. Well,
So
this is the thing. It's so funny because Jay mentioned that about Roman. This will be my last point. And this is gonna be the last topic because we got to wrap up.
right.
So yeah, like SmackDown is being branded as Roman's show. I know that in the Fox contract, that's what they were going to do. Their point was we need a major star because we need to increase ratings and we need to figure out a way on how to go about this in order to give Fox the ratings that they want, which is part of the contract because they need to keep the ratings at a certain percentage. It can't be beneath a certain percentage. Because I know there's talks in them actually moving SmackDown again in the next year or two. There were talks about it. So
I don't think they need to move.
Roman the way they're branding Roman is because of that reason. But because it is because they did the same thing. They did the same thing with Triple H. They did the same thing with Brock Lesnar with SmackDown. They did the same thing with Triple H with Raw. They did the same thing. So they did that. They built the brand around a person. They did.
I don't care what they do. I just hope that next contract with USA, they cut Raw down to a 2-hour event because 3 hours is too long.
I don't think they're gonna step back with that.
No, I don't think so. I'm not. I don't have a problem with 3 hours. It just has to be 3 hours of entertainment. Like I have to be.
Probably, yeah.
It's no three. It's like 45 minutes of entertainment. That's the problem.
And
You get a 3-hour show with 45 minutes of entertainment. Are you not entertained? No, I'm not entertained.
No.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, we got to wrap this up because it's an hour and 45 minutes and we need to wrap this up. So,
right.
Guys, I thank you guys for joining us for another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. I want you guys to hit the subscribe button. I want you guys to give us a thumbs up on YouTube and drop a comment in the comment section below. Also, I want you guys to give us a thumbs up on Facebook. Hit the comment section in the comment section below. Next time we go live, we'll be going live with you guys tomorrow. It's 12 o'clock in Eastern time. So today we'll be going live today before NXT to discuss.
Is NXT tonight? How did they move to tonight?
Finn Balor versus Mr. Cross.
Mr. Karrion Kross. So Finn Balor is next. His new.
Is it Demon Fiend?
No.
Dang.
Nah, he said. I think he said he retired the Finn.
He can't retire the Demon.
Huh?
He can't retire a Demon. You can only put the Demon down for so long.
That's what he said. But I think he's gonna bring him back eventually.
And we have the face off with $1 Million Man and Cameron Grimes. Where allegedly he's supposed to bring back the $1 Million championship.
Then the next show we do got to talk about AEW moving to TBS.
Yeah, and on Fridays.
All right.
Oh, they have another show that's supposed to come out on. That's called. It's called some Dynamite or something.
So AEW is coming out with a second show. That's what I heard. I heard that as well.
It's gonna be an hour show on Fridays, I think.
Okay.
They won't get my watch. I'll be watching Roman Reigns.
Right. All right. So we thank you guys for joining. This is Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. This is a platform dedicated solely for wrestling fans because we want to know your thoughts. We want to talk wrestling. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear from the wrestling universe, and we want to know what you guys think. Anthony Cobb says Rampage.
Rampage, yeah, that's the name of it.
Called Rampage, and he says Friday at 10 o'clock. So it's supposed to be going on. So it's supposed to come on after SmackDown. Interesting.
Smart.
That's a late showing.
But it's a Friday night.
Yeah, but the problem is, people getting ready to go out between 7 and 9, and people are out at 10. So,
Well, depending on where you are, because in New York, people don't leave the house until maybe like 12, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So,
that's true. So, yeah.
So, thank you guys for joining. Again, I'm your host, Saheem the Dream.
with your boy J Mac Mizzle.
With your boy Trav Bayless.
Yes, sir. And we will see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.